Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. And up next, Ravens versus Chargers. Keys to victory. Do me a quick favor as we get started. Hit like. If it is your first time checking out the GM, hit subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk about it. So, let me do something as we get started. Let me clear the air for anybody who took the last video wrong. Some people came off as real sensitive about what I said in that video about a week 12 curse or a game 12 curse. Let me be the first to say I am not superstitious. I don't believe in sports curses. I don't believe in bad juju. I don't believe in karma. So please just miss me with those kind of comments about the last video that I made. That is not the intent of that video. When I used the word curse, I was simply referring to uh, a bad occurrence uh, that happens in a similar way. For example, Jets fans may say that their team is cursed because they can't ever get it right at quarterback. The Detroit Lions may say that they've been cursed because they haven't won a Thanksgiving Day game in 7 years, or they haven't won a playoff game in, I don't know, a long time. You know, um, what other teams may say that they're cursed. At one point, the Boston Red Sox thought that they were cursed. The Boston Celtics supposedly had a curse. There are different players who were said to have had a curse on them. None of that stuff is what I believe. None of that stuff is what I promote. So if you thought that that's what I was saying, if you thought that I was bringing some negativity to the Baltimore Ravens, in fact, you're wrong. The only thing I was doing with that last video was simply talking about the similarities in season. I used the word curse as a reference point of how bad things have happened continually and how the seasons were set up very similar. Case in point, Ravens at the top of the AFC the last 3 years. Lamar Jackson having his team at the top of the AFC North the last 3 years. Some of the same guys being injured some of the last 3 years. Are they cursed? No. I was just simply referring to the reference of a bad thing happening. So relax. Now let's get to Ravens versus Chargers keys to victory. Well, let's look at both teams. Um, the Los Angeles Chargers coming to this game at 4-6, I believe their record is. They're a team that just came off a loss, and they're a team that has tons of talent. I mean, they have talent everywhere. Justin Herbert is a talented quarterback. They've had talent for numerous years at the wide receiver position. They've had talent at the running back position in Eckler for numerous years. They've had talent on the defensive side of the ball. They went out and got Mack last year. They have Joey Bosa, who actually got hurt last week. They have Derwin James in the secondary. They had actually went out and got Jackson in free agency last year, big ticket item. Signed him, but they released him or traded him or something. I can't remember. He's not on team anymore. They have Asante Samuel Jr. at the cornerback position. So they have loads and loads and loads of talent on this team. But for whatever the reason, they can't seem to get out of their own way. And so they had another difficult loss last week. So I think they'll come into this week kind of motivated. They'll come into this week trying to prove themselves. And um, so I think it'll be a big time challenge for the Baltimore Ravens. But let's jump to the Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens come into this game um, having a big loss with Mark Andrews this past game. Um, they should be getting back one or both of Marlon Humphrey and Ronnie Stanley. I know they had made some progress. Don't know if they will actually play, but it looks like things are trending in the direction that they may return. um, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be calling Isaiah Likely into a bigger role, which he has filled in that capacity before. They're going to be calling Charlie Kolar to kind of step into Isaiah Likely's old role, which is playing back up to Mark Andrews. Now, Charlie Kolar will be back up to Isaiah Likely. Um, I know Rashad Bateman got hurt in practice. I think it was yesterday, I believe, maybe Wednesday, but I know I read about it yesterday, and so there's going to be some questions of his availability for Sunday. So both teams come into this game with some questions about health, with some questions about who's going to step up, and both teams actually need a win. I know I heard a lot of commentary that this is not a must win for Baltimore, things like that. I don't believe it's necessarily a must win, but it's a game that I think they need to win. Those are two different contexts. Must win means it has to happen, need to win means it's a necessity. Anyway, um, and so I think that both teams are going to come out and put on a good effort. Baltimore has had um, some rest time because they played a Thursday night game, which allowed them to be off basically 9 full days prior to actually playing this game. And depending on how you count the hours, it could be 10 full days because they don't play until Sunday night. So I think that the Baltimore Ravens should come in with a game plan and come in with a focus to kind of get this game under their belt so that they can move into the bye week and continue to get healthy and continue to plan and to continue to get guys back. So when it comes to looking at this game, I think it's going to be a competitive battle. I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I'll give you, matter of fact, let me give you the score now. I think this score is going to be something like, I'm predicting the Ravens to win. I think the score will be something like 33 to 28, um, 30 to 24. I think it'll be a high scoring affair. Both teams scoring probably somewhere in the high 20s, early 30s. So let me get into it and and then I'll also tell you why I think it'll be a high scoring affair. So I'm gonna start with the offense side of the ball this week. Um, Three keys to victory for the Baltimore Ravens offense. I think key number one is let's establish the run. Okay, let's establish the run, particularly in the direction of where Joey Bosa won't be this week. Joey Bosa is a big time talent, a fierce pass rusher. He's really good against the run and devastating against the pass. And there's going to be nobody on this roster that's going to be able to step into his role. Okay. And so I think that wherever I don't know if Bosa plays on the left side or the right side, but whatever spot he vacated, I think that's going to be a soft point for this Chargers defense. And I think that that's where we capitalize in the run game. Let's run in the spot vacated by Joey Bosa, because I think that some other guys will try to overcompensate for his absence. And I think that's where you can catch them in some mistakes. So I think key number one for the Ravens, let's rush the ball with intent, specifically at the vacant spot of Joey Bosa. I think we need about 30 plus carries, probably 130 yards. And I think that we need that kind of carry number and those kind of yards because the Chargers do have an ability to strike quickly. When the Chargers are clicking, right, they do have an ability to strike quickly. So I think us being effective in the run game is going to be a great weapon this week. Key number two for the Baltimore Ravens offense, I think that um, we have to minimize mistakes. We're going to be on a big stage on Sunday night. We're going to be out in Los Angeles. And I think that they're going to be amped and they're going to be trying to find holes in our offense and our scheme that they can exploit, and we cannot give them extra shots at our defense. So I think that we have to catch what we're supposed to catch, hold on to the ball when we're toting the when we are making carries. Um, and then not putting the harm's way in the pass game. I think that if we can win the turnover battle, I think that we have an advantage because I think that the Chargers do have the propensity to turn the ball over once or twice per game, although they had none last game. Key number three for the Baltimore Ravens offense is I think that you have to um, highlight Isaiah Likely this week. And I tell you why I say Isaiah Likely. So everybody knows Mark Andrews' name. He's a household name uh, in the league at this point. And teams game plan to stop Mark Andrews simply because he was Lamar Jackson's uh, favorite target, right? And so all the game tape is going to be on who? Mark Andrews. There's going to be really no game tape on Isaiah Likely. And Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews' game don't really mirror one another. He's a different type player. He's probably a little bit faster than Mark Andrews. He's probably more athletic than Andrews, although we can't really see it all the time because he doesn't get a lot of reps, but this will be his time to shine. And so I think highlighting him, putting him against a smaller linebacker in the pass game, allowing him to be involved in some rub routes where he rubs open in the seam or rubs open to the outside numbers. I think that um, that'll be a great benefit because they don't have any game tape to really pull up other than last year's games when Isaiah likely filled in for Mark Andrews. So I think being able to highlight him um, in the pass game is going to be super important. And also, I think a caveat to that is also adding Keaton Mitchell more in the pass game. I think that when he's on the field, defenses are going to key on him. But if the Ravens use him like a traditional running back, that's not where he's going to be most optimized. Put him in the pass game and throw the ball to him. Allow him to create mismatches against a slower defender. So those are the keys for victory on the offense side of the ball. Let's jump to the defensive side of the ball. I think defensively, I'm going to start in the secondary versus in the trenches. I think that in the secondary, I think that we have to make sure that we manage Keenan Allen. If he plays, because I know he was on the injury report, if he plays, we have to make sure we manage him. So Keenan Allen is a technician when it comes to running routes. He can run routes and get himself open. He doesn't have elite speed, good speed, but not elite speed, but he is an elite level route runner. And so I think we have to manage him, maybe show some bracket coverage, maybe do some man to man, but then also go into some zone. I think we have to show Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen some different looks because he will work himself open. And we have had some trouble with guys who are more of a technician um, in the context of being a route runner. So I think that's the key in the secondary. I think also. Um, Mix it up for Justin Herbert. Allow him to see different looks because, like I said, he will put the ball in harm's way at least 2 or 3 times per game, and I think we have to capitalize on that. So, key number two defensively is going to be um, in our second level defense, Roquan and Pat Queen. This is a week, okay? This is a week where we face a true um, potent run game. There's been some good running games that have come through over the last uh, how many games have we played? 11? Yeah, the last 11 games. But this is a week where they have a Pro Bowl level running back in Eckler, and then they have a guy in Justin Herbert who can also get busy with his feet as well. And so this is going to be one of those games where we have to tackle what we hit. There's been a couple of weeks in a row where we've missed some tackles. We've slammed into guys, but guys have bounced off and picked up yards after catching all those kind of things and yards after contact as well. And so this is going to be one of them weeks where we have to play downhill, where we have to stop the play when we make contact with the player. We cannot allow these guys to have yards after catch. Also, with that second level, we have to probably spy Justin Herbert. He got busy last week in that loss to the tune of like 74, 75 yards in the run game. We cannot allow that this week. If if Justin Herbert is running for 70 plus yards in the run game, and then Eckler is running also for another 70, we're going to be in trouble in this game. So this is going to be a game where our second level defense, Queen and Roquan, have to play top-notch football in order for us to get out of LA with a win this week. And then we go to the trenches. And I know Clowney and Odafe are really linebackers, but I'm gonna put them more in the trenches along with the front three, those interior linemen, Metabuke, Washington, and Pierce. I'm gonna make those guys a unit. So when I talk about the front line of defense, I'm talking about those guys. And so I think Clowney, Odafe, Metabuke, Pierce, and Washington, they have to finish the play. I think there will be opportunities to get their hands on Justin Herbert, but he's a big, strong guy. He's about 6'6", probably like 230 pounds. He's a guy that has some power. He's a guy who can run away from a defender. And so I think that when we get our hands on him this week, I think we will have opportunity. We have to finish that play. We have to have multiple guys bringing him to the ground because he will break loose and he can pick up yards with his feet. And so I think that that's one thing we have to do. Also, with that front line, we have to clog up those run lanes. We have to make Eckler uh, second guess himself when he sees a hole, but then that hole closes up. We have to make him stop and think a little rather than just react to the open hole because Eckler is a guy who can do damage both in the run and also as a receiver. So that's why. The second level is going to be important, but also the down linemen or the front three or five have to be on their game as well. This is going to be a game this week where our defense will be tested. Okay. Um, because we have had trouble. You guys know this. We have had trouble with the mobile type quarterbacks. We had trouble with Deshaun Watson. We had a little bit of trouble with DTR. We had some trouble with Kenny Pickett, who has some mobility. We had some trouble with Garner Minshew, who can move with the ball a little bit, and so we have to be mindful, super mindful, and on our game this week when it comes to Justin Herbert, which is kind of the bonus because we have had trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and I'm a little nervous because I watched him. Um, Last week, and they end up rushing for like 150 yards, and then Herbert threw for 264. So it's really kind of baffling, how they end up losing that game because he had no turnovers, he wasn't sacked a whole lot, and so I think this week is going to be a test for all levels of our defense. This is going to be one of those things where we have to be on our game. Another bonus is we have to create some turnovers. We have to knock the ball out or we have to pick the ball off. We need to win the turnover battle by at least two. You know what I'm saying? If it's 2-0, meaning we get two turnovers and have none, that's perfectly fine with me. So those are the keys to victory, man. Let me know what you guys think are keys to victory. Let me know what concerns you guys may have with facing off against Justin Herbert in this offense. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and we're out.